World Bank, and it shows that the level of unemployment is gradually rising. From 1991, the stats are very difficult to actually even say it to you guys. It's rising by the day, and it's pretty much that's why we decided to come up with this. And also, amongst the concerns, unemployment came at the top. And here to help me do this discussion is David Ndwati, who's the president of Youth Nation, seated right next to me. Karibu sana.
Nimekaribia yote.
Uniorezo. And of course, right next to him is a lady by the name Gaki Biriri, who's the director and also the founder of AHI, An Honest Intention. She's big on social issues, and of course, she's allergic to poverty. Oh yeah, Karibu.
No comment.
Thank you very much. And we also have Brian Wanyama, who's the, right next to her is Wilkins Fadhili, who's the CEO of Startup Now by Wilkins, and his name is Wilkins Fadhili. That's so dope, by the way. He's big on startup development and, of course, brand strategy. Karibu sana.
Thanks.
You look imeweza, by the way. Nice. Yeah, asante sana. And of course, we have Brian Wanyama, who's the founder of Matwana Culture. He's big on youth employment. Ujamando alianzisha culture ya to celebrate the Kenyan art, and he's here to just help us try to break down why the high level of unemployment in the country. Nantauliza, wasi, is that our immediate concern as young people? Like, growing up, was that like the one thing ulikuwa unasema mazijo nimemaliza chuo, this is the biggest thing that I'm going to meet out there, unemployment?
The first disappointment is you finish one thing, then when you're about to start something else, you realize you're so many people who want to start something else. What I'm talking about is the issue of unemployment now is now what I can consider to be a national tragedy. Why? Because we have millions of educated youth. But now the challenge is you go through a formal setup, which is to get educated. And then right after college, university, graduate, you come now to the market. But the job market cannot absorb you. So you realize that if you are an engineer, you are a bunch of engineers with no site to attend, with no construction to, If you are a legal mind, then you're a bunch of lawyers, and you have to fight through. So you find yourself is a serious, strenuous, and very frustrating identity to, to say that I'm ready to be employed, but where is the employment?
Is the problem our education system? Or what's the problem? What do you think is the problem? Because there is gradual rise, like from 91 to now. I don't want to mention the stats because they are devastating. But it's really, really a big concern. Do you think young people are afraid of the tag unemployed?
Yeah, I think personally, one of the things that really shocked me after going to university was just how there were no jobs at all. Tamaking is real. I don't think people understand just, the actual, tamaking. But although I don't think it's an issue at university level, I think it goes back to the quality of education that's actually being given to the children. Because, honestly, if you go in and you assess the curriculum, you realize that there's such a big gap between what we're studying, like you said, engineering, and what is needed, actually in the workforce. So I think already there's so many issues around the education system that by the time you're done, even if you go through it and finish, still you're not qualified for the workforce.
Fadhili, are we qualified or underqualified or overqualified?
Well, I think we are qualified, and I think it's just a matter of different stakeholders kind of like believing in young people in different sectors, just giving people an opportunity to showcase what they can really do. So I think we are qualified. And even if you're not qualified, well, if there's a word like that, I feel like there's a need of you just train people, give people an opportunity for them to showcase their talents, showcase their abilities. So it's not about being qualified or being underqualified. Yeah.
Brian?
I feel like in the past, when you were in primary school, okay, for my case, when I was in primary school, we used to have things like woodwork, music, metalwork. So those were basic techniques that you'd really apply even when you finish college, or even even when you finish high school. So if you look back, most people didn't rely on the formal employment, because it was, you just finish high school, unapata job saa hizo. Because you can really do something and start making a living. Apart from that, we also used to have social halls where the youth used to go and do some sporting activities, stuff like that. We used to have fields. Sasa unapata field imekuwa ploti and all. So like kuna so many talents, as in I believe everyone is really equipped and we are all blessed in different sectors. Because kuna ule mtu like, I want to become a footballer, I want to become a driver, I want to become, there are so many things. Hatuwezi sema sasa tunakwamilia like on, I just want to be a doctor, he wants to be an engineer. Yeah. So kuna so many technical things that unazafanya, but really kitu imefail ni your background umepata. So like in the past, unaangalia hata vitu kama home science, kulikuwa na home science kitambo. Sasa kuna home science na vitu kama hizo. So you really have to like make an extra effort to do it in the technical universities or maybe later on. Now, not everyone gets that opportunity.
Kumekuwa na accusation especially towards the young people.
Yeah.
The accusation ni ati we don't like blue-collar jobs, we love white-collar jobs. Like you're studying in that, one day you're going to have an office with a tag on the door and you're like, yeah, that's my office, I'm the CEO. And of course, you guys, no shade on you guys, but then you are presidents and CEOs and directors, yes, and you're young people. But then don't you think like people prefer white-collar jobs to blue-collar jobs?
I want to begin with this. And that is just to address the white-collar mentality. The first thing is, because of the rate of unemployment, most youth, once you're done with your first degree, you come tarmac, you realize there is no job, you go back to your parents, you tell them, I think it's time I do a master's. I mean, you've not even started.
By the way, why is it that most of the people are doing masters?
You know,
right,
so
right after
you find we have extremely overqualified youth who have no exposure and experience. That's the first problem. And then we have a culture. Now, that's where the big problem is, that relies on employment. Now, this culture, instead of empowering the youth as a society to become self-employed or to create those employment opportunities, you find there is too much congestion. And that is what is happening. That's why you find a youth will run back to do a master's because he believes, I need to go back. When I'm coming to look now for the job, I need to come and pitch for an MD. I mean, then when you are submitting your resume, you are required to give your experience. So you find a resume says a very strong portfolio, but it's all through school. So have you done any work? Now, we have to come to a place where we appreciate now that we need to, first of all, get exposed. And we need to be exposed to a market either through volunteerism, okay, through continuous participation, because we are looking at majority of youth who have too much talent, a good education, but where are they? They are the same youth who end up being fanatics. So you find a youth cannot discuss an idea, but can discuss the last football that was played yesterday. And
Gaki, talk to me about it. I'm seeing you raise your finger.
No, I mean, I'm just wondering, I mean, what's wrong with that? If you're passionate about something, then,
Exactly.
I mean, be passionate about it. I don't think it's fair to call people fanatics because of passion. You know, I think if someone is passionate about football, go be a football, I don't know, what do you call the people who like...
Commented.
Yeah, that one. I don't watch football. But I think also part of the problem is definitely the employers themselves, because youth unemployment is not a youth issue entirely. There's a lot of stakeholders, like you said, there's the government's involvement. I mean, we need to up our education system. But also, and I want to call out some companies, not by name, but there are companies which will say, okay, yeah, you have 5 years experience, but you don't have a master's. And then they take you back. And I say this, I have seen it. And I mean, people need to actually call these companies out because it's not fair that someone has been, you know, continuously participating and volunteering and whatnot. And then someone comes and says, yeah, but you don't have a master's. I mean, we should be learning for the sake of knowledge, not for the sake of, you know, careers or, yeah. It's just, the system is flawed.
Talk to us. What a feel story because unemployment is real. Give you an example. You wake up in the morning, your parents took you to school so that you get into a career that can be able to help you balance your lifestyle. Unataka wende ukue breadwinner. In that, mtu wetu ni daktari. Ukikam home, unataka kuona, daktari ameamua ni shamba 4 nini. Umeget? So those are some of the things you're looking at. So una feel aje kama a young person?
Well, I think, you see, when it comes to like that mentality of like, you have to like get like a white-collar job. You see, at the end of the day, we can't really judge anyone because there's some people who they're just like, you know what, me, I just want to be on employment because that's how they feel they can serve the country by being maybe in government or by being CEOs in a certain, you know, in a certain sector. But see, at the end of the day, it's just a matter of getting the entire ecosystem, the entire, let's say, youth get to understand that it's not a must that you get yourself into white-collar jobs.
But most of the people say blue-collar jobs are for the guys who failed. Madako akikuona una printing kitisho ati umeenda Nairobi ku print tisho.
So you see, it all comes to like much of like sensitization. Let's have like all these like kind of like these kind of conversations and programs that make youth understand that it's not about like getting a white-collar job. Like there's something within you that if you get yourself involved in a certain kind of activities, you get to know that, you know what, so I can really do this. I can be a designer, I can be a stylist, I can be a photographer. We have good photographers who are doing amazing work there. Shout out to Mutua Madeka.
Brian, hebu niambie hii story itakuwaje?
Phil, first of all, we have a lot of untapped industries. Like, kwa mfano, let's say we are talking about the music industry. Unajua, lazima kuwe DJ, msanii, kuna publicists, kuna manager, as in there's a lot of stuff ukiangalia. So I feel like nisema youth wajakuwa enlightened kwa hizi vitu. Watu wengi wajui hizi vitu. Watuja keep up. Institutions zetu pia hazijaanza kutuambia what's happening. Cause sahi bado kila mtu anakuambia sasa ukienda ushago waambie grandmother yako wewe ni makeup artist. Sema ufanya kwa salon. Unaona? So na sahi makeup artist ni mtu anaweza ando mpaka nishe gari nini na kitu unafanya with all that drive, passion. Unaona? So na believe kuna hizi industry like zinatokea hata kasa hii kama unaona kuna social influencers kwa social media like unapata kuna watu Facebook kazi yao tu ni ku boost everything like event coming stuff like that. Unaona hizo ni vitu like ziko tu hapa kwa fingertips. Like kama ni mtu unapenda watu kuna industry tayari ziko ready for you. So I believe youth tuko na hiyo potential. But pia unapata tena shida ni kasa CV sasa tuko hapa. Nasema sisi tuko fortunate enough that tuko Nairobi. Kuna mtu tuko Ushago. Mtu tuko hiyo place ana hizo resources, hakuna infrastructure huko. Kuna stima, kuna nini. So it's really hard even to balance it.
So we're going to be back, but then each and every week we delve into the art segment. Na hii wiki create focus on an artist by the name Sanjay Arts, who jamani mo amazing. He's a pencil work artist. One interesting thing about Sanjay is that nilikutana naye in the streets of Nairobi, alikuwa anatembea akiuza portraits. So what he does is he goes on social media and kama amechora mtu kama Boniface Mwangi, he tags the person and then that's how he makes a living each and every single day. I've never seen such a hustler. This guy is doing great. He's an artist. Check out for Sanjay Arts.
Mimi naitwa Sanjay Arts. I'm a pencil artist. I've specialized in portraits, drawing people's portraits and selling them. I normally use pencil as my medium. Okay, who I look up to locally, there is an artist called Makatista. The artist, actually, he does hyperrealism portraits, people's portraits, just with colored pencil. So yani mtu mmoja, yani one of those people anakuanga inspire the most in our Kenya, in our country Kenya locally. But tukienda outside the country, there is an artist called Eric Tishol. He's a pencil artist, anafanya hyperrealism. His artworks yani they are so real, yani ukiziangalia hata wewe mwenyewe ukiweza chukuziangalia hivi unasema wow, enyewe hii ni kali. So hakuna vile unaweza kukosa kulipa. Yeah. Mi upata market from mi upata client from time to time because hiyo kutembea na arts zangu. Most of the people wanakuanga wamefreshwa na hizo artworks. So wanatakanga niwafanyie specifically yenye wanataka, kama hii yani unifanyie kama hii uniframe hivi. Some maybe zingine natuma Kisumu. Nilisoma kwa blog fulani Google, hiyo ilikuwa time yenye nilikuwa naanza kuchora. Niliona portrait za watu ndio ziko na do mostly, and then hiyo aina watu wengi ushinda watu wengi sana, unaona. Okay, what inspires me to draw ni sometimes naweza chora picha client and then akate kunilipa. So from there actually nakuwa motivated kuchora more portraits, at least nizishow kwa social media, nitembee nazo. From there najua nitapata client maybe 1 or 2. I normally use Pinterest, so mi uchukua zile photographs zimepigwa and then download. So from there ndo nasema actually this is the best one. Mi angalia actually picha yenye kuna message. Picha yenye kuna message ndo nasema iko fiti, naweza chora kwa karatasi. Yeah, depending on the quality of the photo. As an artist, you're supposed to go by the quality of the photo, because hawezi patiwa picha ama hawezi pata picha yenye iko blur and then unachora kwa paper. Itakupatia hard time. Itakupatia a very hard time. Yeah. Okay, challenges zenye mimi napitia actually unapata kuna msee amekucall ama amekudm kwa Facebook, Twitter ama Instagram, anasema okay, nichore, nitakumarket ama nitakulipa baadaye. Na huko sure kama atakulipa ama atakumarket. Sasa uko 50-50. So unamwambia hapana, haiwakingi hivyo. You have to pay the deposit first, nikuchore and then nikupatie picha so you can market me however you want. Niko na students of my own nafunza kuchora. So most of them are university and colleges. So hiyo 5 years maybe itakuwa expand more. My advice to budding talent, mi wambia okay, they should never give up. Kitu yenye unafanya, kitu yenye unapenda kufanya, waifanye to the maximum. Wasiache mtu wa pull down. Unaona? Because the moment umekuwa pull down, huwezi fika mahali unataka. So wewe kile unafanya ifanye to the maximum, as in don't listen to anybody, critics usizisikie, wewe lenga, wewe fanya kile unafanya since it's what you love, you know what you want. You know where you want to get. Yeah.
Wow, I'm telling you, that guy is super amazing, and we're back to open mic. Sanjay Arts is the name of that individual, and he's such a great person. But they follow him on social media, utampata, Sanjay Arts. But then I have to come back into the studio and ask, what is the solution? What's the way forward for history and employment? Tumekuwa tukicomplain, haijawak. Tumekuwa tukiblame wase, government, tukipoint fingers, nepotism, tukipoint fingers, or economy. But then, what's the solution?
Well, first of all, let us refocus ourselves to empowerment as opposed to employment, and I have reasons to say that. The first thing is, if you are employed, you cannot create further employment besides the job you are as an employee. But if you are an empowered youth, it means you can create other opportunity besides you as a person to other youth. What am I talking about? I'm talking about a scenario whereby the government has structures, has policies, has laws. Like now the youth access the government procurement opportunities. These are opportunities for the youth. But they are opportunities to create a platform for empowerment. There's the youth fund, okay, which is supposed to create that and sustain a platform whereby youth are empowered to a point that now they can sustain being self-employed. And that is the direction we need to,
talk to me about
to look at.
Yeah, so referring to his point, especially about capital, I believe that sisi kama youth, we need to team up. Partnerships will make the...
Easy partnership inakuanga hard kuzipata.
Partnerships tapata. Juu, first of all, like naweza sema the best way ni through easy events. Like utapata, let's say kuna events ya creatives, place wanna meet. Ama kasi hivyo pia kuna social media. You can get to share your work with someone. You get to work together. You pull resources. You might have a camera. I might know, let's say, about matatus. So if we come together, we can make a TV show.
Gaki, way forward. What's the solution to all this?
Gosh, there's so many things that need to be done. But I think on a personal level, there needs to be, like, you seek opportunity, like you're saying. You go out and look for opportunities. You look for people who can help you. And also, don't give up. I mean, nothing ever comes easy. So you go to the bank, they turn you down. It's all right. It's all right. Like, you know, we need to be consistent. We need to have, you know, you build your portfolio, you build your brand. There's so many things that when you talk to people who are giving jobs or giving opportunities, they say the youth are inconsistent. You start something, you let it go in the middle. Also, if you're learning something, be good at it. For example, if you're going to do photography, watch YouTube videos about how to do better photography. Be the best that they can't ignore you, you know? So I think on a personal level, that's the kind of things that you can do. But there needs to be a lot more on a national level also that's done by the government and, you know, key stakeholders to be able to handle this issue.
Adili?
Well, you see, like, for me, I'm so passionate about, like, startups and brands development. So I think when it comes to, like, solution, I think different stakeholders, it can be venture capitalists, government, organizations, and the best way to do this is by what Brian has said. One is through events, and these events, they don't have to be like the long panel discussion or long summits that we always have. It can be like more of like entrepreneurs pitching their business ideas, having really strategic boot camps, so that at the end of the day, we have like a really good percentage when it comes to like empowerment. Yeah, and another thing is I think just more conversations when it comes to like going out there and doing your thing. And lastly is let's have like all these stakeholders really kind of like believing in youths. So if we have like, let's say banks shouldn't be skeptical in terms of supporting youths. Yeah.
What do you think they're skeptical?
Well, I think it's because they feel like
we don't prove ourselves enough. We don't have a history of we don't have a history as young people. We don't have a history of this economy in particular has been spearheaded by young people. Yeah. But not to downplay like startups and stuff like that. But but we are being affected by so many other different things. And what's the immediate, like for your entities, what's the immediate thing that affects you? Is it politics? Is it nepotism? But you're the bosses, maybe not. So I'd like to just know what are some of the things that affect these small businesses started by young people?
Well, I'll say this. Last year there was a serious political enterprise. And I'm saying that because we are just from the previous elections. And I saw a lot of participation of the youth. But now, the biggest challenge is this.
Are they idle or unemployed? You know,
they are. There's the aspect of being...
We have labor force, but it doesn't equate to the spaces of jobs.
You see, even idleness becomes a resource depending on where you engage it.
True story.
Okay, so it's actually what happened. I like talking on things that are more realistic. Talk about startup. You need funding, you need capital. There's youth fund, okay? Talk about tenders which belong to the youth. And a lot of tenders. The problem and the challenge is bureaucracy. The other problem is corruption. The other problem is the kind of look which we can call it ethnicity. Somebody will look at, if probably, and I'm giving an example, if you're not from that particular county or you're not a native of that particular community, then you're not considered. You understand? So these are the challenges that the youth are facing. But the solution is just simple. The first thing we need to do is, as the youth of this country, we need, first of all, to get united. We are not supposed to be united when the politicians need us. We're supposed to be united now to propagate now the implementation of policies which support the sustainability of an empowered, employed youth. Because if you are empowered, it means for a fact, if, like Fadhili, when he's doing his thing, you know, he knows where to get the material. He's not being given. He's using money. So let us refocus and look at the current structures which the government has already given the youth as a platform. And my call is very simple, like Youth Fund. I believe.
I may have to cut you short because of time, but then this conversation continues. Thank you very much for creating time to just be here with us. But nataka tu nipatie your like 3 things that you believe in that's going to bring about change in the society when it comes to the young people. Yeah.
Personally, when I began my journey, my age was an issue, my gender was an issue. And so I guess speaking as a young woman in this, I mean, we have to realize, first of all, there will be challenges. And so I think sometimes people go in with the wrong mentality, expecting everything to come easily. It won't come easily. So I think, one, there needs to be that change in psychology, but also I think for the people ahead of us who've gone ahead of us and been successful, they also need to reach back and guide people through. So I think there also need to be that kind of mentorship between those who've gone before us and the ones who are still here.
Asante sana. I think we'll call it a conversation. We'll continue next time because mazejo hatutaisolve hivyo fast sana. But then I believe there's going to be change. Thank you very much. That is Brian, Fadhili, Gaki, and of course David Ndwati for just joining us tonight. That's it for Open Mic. And of course, each and every week, we make sure that you get a glimpse of a Kenyan film or international film on the film review. Nasema good night for now. Of course, the hashtag is Youth Cafe. Tuendelee kufuatana at Brian_Selly. And of course, nimepiga luku because kuna chali anaitwa Joel Maluki alinidress leo siku. This film is actually an initiative by 2 entities. Girls from Mathare and of course, girls from Kisumu City. They are called the Dream Girls, who came together under the mentorship of a lady by the name June. And of course, the UN was part and parcel of this. They came up with a Kenyan film called Atieno. It catches on so many other plights that are just major factors. Take a look and of course, have a good night. God bless. Sisi out. Hey.
Chiegni mingi kodgi eka tijwa bro. Marariyo nyaka inind gi jonam gi. Jonam makelo rech gi nyaka nind godo eka gibiro miyo omena maber, abro yudo omena mang'eny eka tich biro dhi maber. Yie gi tijno.
Nairobi onge kar tugo. Atieno dhi tich Nairobi.
Siendi kwa hiyo bale, siendi. Sasa natafuta kazi na pali pa kulala. Nimeona bosi wangu.
Na si uongee, unanishtua wewe.
Bosi wangu akiongea.
Kitu inaniuma zaidi. Unaiba pesa zangu unafunga nayo hoteli.